welcome back to my channel. I'm Kaylee and these are my books. So I'm pre-filming a bunch of videos because I'm going to be out of town for a while. So you might see me in the same hair and makeup for a couple of videos, but I just want to get them filmed and posted in advance. That way you still have content while I'm gone. Today's video are some 5-star predictions, but I wanted to do 5-star predictions based off of books that I already own, so books from my TBR shelf, because I own so many books. I have a whole bookshelf full of unread books, plus one of those TBR carts full of unread books, and I really need to read my books. I just love buying books. I love getting ebooks from Kindle and getting audiobooks from the library, where sometimes the physical books kind of, fall to the side. And so I'm making this 5-star prediction video based off of the physical books that I own to try to inspire me to read some of these physical books. And then in the future, when I do read these books, I can revisit this video and see if my 5-star predictions were correct. I have quite a few different genres here, so I'm going to start with the fantasy books that I have as 5-star predictions. The first fantasy book that I have is The City of Brass. This is unfortunately a very ugly cover because I don't have the dust jacket. I bought it used off of someone. So you can see on the side here, it says The City of Brass. And I think I'm going to love this book. I don't know a ton about it, but I don't really want to know that much. I know that we're learning the magic with the character, which I love that. And I know there's some romance in it, but it's kind of a slower build romance, and the romance is not the forefront of this. It's mainly a fantasy story focused on these characters. But other than that, I don't know too much about it. I mean, you've likely heard of The City of Brass. It's incredibly popular and so many people love this book. That's why I think I'm going to love it too. I just need to actually read it. My next 5-star prediction for a fantasy book is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I've given Brandon Sanderson's books pretty much all 5 stars. I love his books, especially his Cosmere books, so I will be shocked if I don't give this book 5 stars. This is the one I'm the most sure about in this video. This is my last Cosmere book to read, and I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, this is getting 5 stars. I just need to read it first. The last fantasy book I have as a 5-star prediction is The Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. Can we take a moment to appreciate how beautiful this edition is? I mean, the gold foiling, look at that side, amazing. I put this in my mid-year freakout tag as the most beautiful book I own. It's the Illumicrate edition and it's so pretty. But this is, a high fantasy book by J. Kristoff. This is the first book in the series. This is the only book that's out so far. And again, tons of people are loving this book. I love J. Kristoff's work. You can see over here, I have Nevernight series, one of my favorite fantasy series. I also love the Illuminate series, which he co-wrote with A.D. Kaufman. And this book, people are loving. People say it's one of the best fantasy books ever. And I'm like, hell yeah, give me that fantasy. And I love vampires. I never got out of my vampire stage. I entered my vampire stage when I read Twilight in middle school, and I never exited my vampire stage. So I want all the vampire books, and I'm sad that they're not as common. So this being a vampire book, I'm doubly excited for. So yes, I think I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I just need to read it. It's quite long and intimidating, which is why I have not yet read it. But hopefully putting this in the video makes me inspired to pick it up soon. I'm now moving on to romance 5-star predictions, and the first romance book I have as a 5-star prediction is Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This is another book that so many people are loving. This is a sapphic, grumpy sunshine romance book, more rom-com-y, and I think it takes place at a wedding where the 2 characters meet, so that's pretty exciting. And I think they've met in the past and they don't like each other, which is, I love that setup too. Again, this is a pretty cool copy. I got it from Afterlight, which is Illumicrate's romance quarterly club. But I think I'm going to love this. I think it's gonna be 5 stars. I just need to read it. I have a ton of romance books, physical books that I need to read, because when I've been reading romance books lately, they've been those Kindle Unlimited stories, which I don't regret because I've been loving my Kindle Unlimited romances, but I need to show some love back to my physical books as well. Out of all the romance books I have for this video, the one I'm most excited for is Tessa Bailey's My Killer Vacation. I haven't read anything from Tessa Bailey, so I don't know if she works for me yet, but this is my 5-star prediction because this is a kind of combination of a murder mystery with a romance. and I love murder mysteries and I love romance books, so them together sounds amazing. I am a little bit skeptical that this book is like 280 pages and it's supposedly a romance and a murder mystery, so we'll have to see how well both those plot lines go together. But I think it's gonna work for me, and I love the cover too. I love these two colors together, so I'm feeling good vibes about this book. I think it's gonna be 5 stars. The last romance book I have for my 5-star prediction video is The Honeymooners by Kristen Lauren. I've read, there's the one that everyone doesn't like from Kristen Lauren. Oh, I almost said The Love Hypothesis. The Soulmate Equation. It's almost like a very, very, very light sci-fi romance, because basically the Soulmate Equation is about this company that can take people's DNA and find out if they're going to be soulmates or not. I loved that book. I don't know, a lot of people didn't like it, but I really liked it. That's the only Kristen Lauren I've read though. And this one seems to be like their most popular book. And I think I'm gonna love this book too, because if I disliked the book that people say is their worst one, then what am I gonna think about the book that people say is one of their best ones? And The Honeymooners is a fantastic setup. So basically, follows a wedding, and the bride and groom get sick and can't go on their honeymoon, but it's non-refundable. So they send the maid of honor and the best groomsman. What is the best groomsman called? The best man? Oh my God, pretend like that didn't just happen. So the maid of honor and the best man, and they go on the honeymoon for the bride and groom because they already paid for it. Someone must enjoy it. But the two people that go on this honeymoon have to pretend like they just got married. The catch is they hate each other. So this is a hate to love romance set in a vacation setting, and I've been loving vacation setting books. I recently read The Reckless Girls as a thriller, and it's one of my favorite thrillers ever, and that takes place in a vacation setting, as well as People We Meet on Vacation has a bunch of different vacation settings in the book, and that's a romance book, and I loved it too. And I think what I loved about those books were the settings. I love a vacation setting. So this book also has a vacation setting, and I'm excited to test my hypothesis that I think I love any book with a vacation setting. I think I just really want to go on vacation, which is good because when you watch this video, I will kind of be on vacation, so go me. But anyways, I think this is going to be 5 stars. I'm excited to read it. My mom also loves this book, and we have kind of similar tastes in romances, so I'm hoping to like this too. I'm now moving on to my thriller and horror 5-star predictions. The first one I have is The Deep by Nick Cutter. I read The Troop by Nick Cutter and thought it was probably the scariest horror book I've ever read, which means it did a lot of things right as a horror book. I ended up giving it, I think, only 4 stars though, just because, I don't know, The Troop has a lot of like bug scenes, and bugs are my biggest fear, so it was kind of hard to read about at times. Where this, I don't know, maybe there's bugs in here, I'm not sure, but I know this is a spooky water story. Basically, there's some disease topside, and people have to go down deep in the ocean's trenches to find this cure at the bottom of the ocean. I don't know why the cure is at the bottom of the ocean, but it is, so they have to go get it. But I think there's ocean monsters, which, yes. I love Into the Drowning Deep. That's like my favorite, one of my favorite books of all time. That book and My Best Friend's Exorcism are my favorite horror books. And so this book being set in the deep ocean as well, even similar names to Into the Drowning Deep, I think I'm going to love it. 5-star prediction for sure. The next book I have is Shiver, and I don't know too much about this book besides it's a thriller in an isolated winter cabin setting where people get snowed in, and then I think people start to die. Yeah, so the very short premise at the top of this book is a reunion weekend in the French Alps turns deadly as 5 friends discover that someone has stranded them at their remote mountain resort during a snowstorm. I love snowstorm thrillers. They're like one of my favorite things ever. I even loved Ruth Ware's One by One. It's in this pile. I think it might just be off camera. But so many people hated that book, but I loved it because I'm a simple person. You put a thriller in an isolated snowstorm setting, you make people start dying, and I'm in. That's all I need to read. I'm in. And I really can't envision a scenario where I don't give this book 5 stars. Because I think every snow setting book I've given 5 stars to. So we'll see if the trend continues. And my last 5-star prediction is The Collective. And honestly, this book doesn't sound that good to me. I think it's kind of like a mom's revenge story. But I've been seeing incredible reviews about this book, and my mom read this book and she said it's one of her favorite books of the year. And again, my mom and I reread a lot of the same books, so if my mom loves something, I'm gonna be reading that book too. I got this book from Book of the Month, obviously, and I've been seeing a lot of people in the Book of the Month group say how great this book is too. So I'm excited, and I love the cover. I love a red and black thriller cover. So the cover is speaking to me, and all the other reviews are speaking to me, and my mom literally spoke to me about this book, so I think I'm gonna give this book 5 stars. All right, those are all of my 5-star predictions for the books that I currently own. Let me know in the comments if you read any of these books and what your thoughts about these books were. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!